Hello everyone, welcome to this video. In this video, we'll try to discuss another very important Python topic called login. First of all, let me tell you what is login. See, login is nothing but whenever, let's say, you are trying to create any kinds of application, let's say you are creating any kinds of software, there you have to log some information for the debugging. So what is debugging? Debugging means, let's say, if your application is throwing any kinds of error, or let's say if it is failing in the production, so it will log some information like in which line it is giving me the error, what is the error. Okay, so all the error messages actually it will give you. But in production server, actually it's not possible to see that particular print message, because what happens if I am executing my program in my VS Code, so there I have one terminal. So I think you know there actually I have one terminal, that means command prompt, right? Or if I'm executing my code in my Jupyter notebook, so there I'm having that particular console. So whenever it is printing something, I can see my let's say message from that particular console or from that particular command prompt itself. Okay, but in production means it's a cloud platform, like where you are hosting your application. Let's say we know, like, we host the application, right? Whenever we create any kinds of web application, we try to host that particular application, let's say in a domain www.xyz.com. So that's actually with the help of domain and hosting, we try to deploy our application in the production server, and my application will be running in the production server. And now let's say if your application is failing somewhere, if it is giving some issue, so it's not possible to open a terminal, or let's say command prompt, or let's say your Jupyter notebook in that particular production server and just check the code issue, like what is happening. And it's not possible to debug our application with the help of this particular print statement there. So for this, we have to use this particular login technique inside Python. I'll tell you how we can perform login. With the help of login, actually what I can do, I can log our information. That means I can save our information in a file itself, right? So what I will do, I'll just create a log file. Inside that particular file, it will log all the information. Let's say anything, or any kinds of error message you can log, any kinds of print statement you can log. Okay, so whatever, let's say, message you want to put, everything you can put in this particular file itself. Okay, this particular log file itself. So again, it's a practical actually understanding. So let's go to our code editor and try to understand this logging inside Python. So guys, to implement the login, first of all, I will import two Python package actually. So the first package, actually I need something called login. See, login is already a Python package. So it is an inbuilt Python package. You don't need to install separately. It is already available inside Python. So with the help of login, actually we can do the login operation. That means we can save the information of our application, right? Now there is another module I need to use called OS. Okay, OS means operating system module. So with the help of OS, that means operating system package, what we are gonna perform. See, I think you know, in your operating system, let's say I'm using Windows operating system. So here I can create a file. Okay, I can create a folder. I can open a folder. I can delete a folder. Okay, everything is possible with the help of this particular user interface. But if you want to perform with the help of code, okay, with the help of Python code, then we have to use this particular operating system library. So inside operating system library, there are so many functionalities are available. You can create a folder. You can delete a folder. You can copy some file inside a folder. Okay, everything is possible with the help of Python programming. And there are so many functionality of this particular operating system. Going forward, we'll be discussing whenever we require, because I told you it's not possible to remember all the functionality of a package, because there would be thousands of packages. Okay, so we'll be only using them whenever I need it. Okay, that's the idea. So these are the packages actually I'm going to use to implement this particular log inside Python. So here, the first thing what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a folder called log. Inside log folder, it will create a log file, and inside that it will save all the logging messages. Okay, so for this I'm going to take a variable and I'm going to name it as log underscore dir. That means log directory. And what is the log directory name? Let's say log directory name is something called logs. Let's say this is my directory name. Then I'm going to take another variable, my login file name. So here I will just write log underscore file underscore name. So log file name I'm going to take, let's say application.log. So make sure you are using this .log file format. Okay, not any other format. You can also use txt file, but I won't be recommend to use txt file, because every file has their own, let's say, responsibility. So txt file is better whenever you are writing something in a file, and whenever you want to save any kinds of log, I will try to suggest just use this particular log file itself. Okay, because it is used in the production. Many of our developers are using this particular log file instead of using txt file. Okay, so that's why it's it's recommended to use always. Fine. I think you are getting my point, right? Okay. So I have defined my log folder as well as the logging file name. Now, so first of all, I'm going to create this particular log folder. So to create a log folder, I can use this operating system package, and inside that there is a function you will get, which is nothing but make directories. Okay, make dirs. So this will take the directory name. So let's say this is my directory name. So if you give any directory name, it will automatically create that particular specific folder. So let me show you. See, if I execute the program, it will create directory here. See, log folder is created. Now see, if I again execute, it will throw me one error. It will tell you cannot create a file when that file is already exist, because it is already exist. I can't create again. But let's say in some cases, I need to again execute this particular code and it will throw me error, but I don't want that. So for this, you can give one parameter called exist underscore OK is equal to true. That means if it is already exist, so it won't be creating, otherwise it will create. Now see, if I execute the program, it will work. That means it is already exist. It won't be creating. It will just ignore that particular line. Okay, that is the idea. Now inside this particular logs, okay, inside this particular logs folder, I need to create this particular application.log file. So for this, first of all, I will define a path. So to define this particular path, either I can directly write, I'll just write path is equal to log directories, okay, log dir. And here I will give this particular plus operator. And inside that, I'm going to mention this particular slash, because what happens actually, if you see any kinds of directory, it will divided by with this particular slash. Okay, slash you can see. But in Windows, it is using backward slash. Okay, it is using backward slash. You can give backward slash here because I'm using Windows machine. But see, when I'm using backward slash, sometimes actually it will use as a, let's say, any other operation inside Python. Let's say if I use \n. So what does it mean? It means new line actually, space, right? If I'm using \t, that means tab. Okay, you want to represent a tab. So again, it's an issue. So what I can use the forward slash only. Now, again, I can use plus operator and I can write logging file name. Now see, if I print this particular path, now see, it will print this particular path itself. Okay, I can take the path like that. But see, if I'm using this particular approach, so I need to manually create this particular path. And again, this slash will give one issue. Let's say if you're executing this code in the, let's say, Windows operating system, it may throw you some error. And if you're using backward slash, so if you're using this particular code in the Linux or Mac operating system, it will again create an issue, because in Linux and Mac operating system, it uses forward slash, okay, not the backward slash. Okay, so to prevent this particular issue, what I can use another functionality from operating system called os.path, okay, path.join. So when os.path.join automatically join this particular path, let me show you. So I need to give my directory name and comma, I need to give my log file name. So it will automatically create the path based on your operating system. Okay, now see, if I store this thing in a path, now if I print this particular path, print my path. Now see, if I execute, see, automatically it will define this particular path. Now see, automatically it is using backward slash because it's a Windows operating system I'm using. I hope you got it. So instead of writing manually, I can use this particular code snippet to create any kinds of path. Okay, I think you got it. Okay, what I'm trying to do here. Now instead of giving path, I can define as a log path. Okay, I think that should be more readable, because always try to use a variable which is having actually good name. So what will happen if you're using this particular code after 1 year, and if you want to read it, what you have written, so it would be easy for you to read because of this particular variable name. Okay, and also try to use comment. Everywhere try to use comment. I already showed you how to define a comment inside Python. Fine. So my log file, log path is also ready. Okay, I can show you the log path. Log path is also ready. That means now I can do the login operation. See, to perform the login operation, what I can do. So let me first of all delete this line. So inside logging module, okay, inside this particular logging module, I'm having one function called basic config. So you have to use this particular basic config. Now you can ask me how I will get to know, okay, whether it will be basic config or any other actually, let's say, function. Simply just go to Google and search for login in Python. Okay, you will see the official documentation of login, and here if you see the code snippet, see, they're using basic config. Okay, basic config, then you have to define the login level, then your file name. Okay, then you can also define the format of the login. Okay, so let me show you how I have done this particular configuration. You can also visit that particular documentation and you can read it, okay, how they are writing, because they're writing step by step. That's why you can see different kinds of code snippet. But if you read all the documentation, at the last you will see they are also writing like me only, right? See, what you have to do, you have to use this particular basic config function, and inside that, the first thing you have to define the file name. Okay, file name. So file name is equal to my log file path, because this is my entire file path, right? So I want to create a login file application.log inside the logs folder, and this is the entire path of my file. Okay, I hope you got it. Now the second, let's say, parameter you have to pass called format. Okay, what should be the log format? So here I can define the format. Format is equal to, so this is the format I usually use. So let me tell you what is the format. First of all, it will save the current timestamp and date. Okay, it will save you the current timestamp and date. Then it will save the name, that means the file name. Then it will save the label name, that means what kinds of log you want to do. So I want to perform, let's say, information level log. That means it will save my information of my application. And you have to define the message. That means what particular message you want to save. Okay, so this is a formatting. Okay, this is a log formatting, and you can see there are different log formatting you will see inside the documentation. See, there are different log formatting. Okay, see, different log formatting. So that's how I just referred this particular documentation. I created this particular log format. Okay, now see, whenever I'll execute this application, you will get it. Okay, how it is saving the log. Initially, just try to get it. It's a format to define my log. Now here you have to define the label. Okay, so my log label should be info label log. That means I want to save the information of my software. Now see, if I execute the program, okay, if I execute the program, it is working fine. Now if I go inside my, let's say, logs file, okay, logs folder, you will see application.log has created, and this file is empty. There is nothing. That means I'm able to successfully create this particular file inside the folder itself. There is no issue. Now if I want to log anything, if I want to log any kinds of messages, what I can do, I will just simply call login, okay, .info. So there is a function you have to use called info, because it's an information label log I have assigned. Okay, I want to save the information of my software. Now inside that you can pass any kinds of message. So here I can give, let's say, hello world. Now see, if I execute the program, it will work fine. Now see, if I open my application.log, now you can see the hello world message I have given, it is logged here. Instead of printing inside my console, okay, instead of printing like that inside my console, sorry, what I'm doing, I'm logging this particular message inside my log file itself. Now see, what will happen? First of all, it will save the current timestamp and date. You can see this is the current date and this is the current timestamp I executed this particular code. That means every time you execute your application, that particular timestamp would be saved here. So here you have mentioned the format. ASCII time, that means the current timestamp. Okay. Now the second thing is root. What is root? So it is coming from the name. Name means from where you are executing your application. You can see this is my project folder, and I'm executing my application from the root folder itself. Okay, that means this is my current folder, project folder, and this file is present inside my project folder. That means in my root folder. Okay, so that's why it's coming as a root. Then I'm giving the label name. That means what kinds of log you want to save. Here I've given info label. That's why it's an info label. Okay, and the last one, the message. That means whatever message actually you are giving, it will come here. Okay, this is the log format. I think you got it. Now let's say I want to log another message. I can simply give, let's say, log.info. And inside that I can write, let's say, if I execute again, what it will do, it will see, it won't be replacing the previous log. Instead of that, it will create another timestamp and will save another log. That means now what you can do in the production server, you can simply download this particular log file if your application is failing, and you can simply check in which line your application fails and what was the issue. By reading that particular issue, you can fix your application. Okay, you don't need to use any kinds of print statement, because whenever we let's say create any kinds of software for the production, that means for the real world application, right, we don't use print function. Okay, print function we use for the experiment purpose. Let's say I want to see whether this particular data is printing or not, I can use the print function. But whenever I'll be writing my code for the production server for the real world application, that time I will be using login. So every time I will log the information instead of printing, because I know that in my production server, there is no console I can see my message. So I have to download this log file, and there actually I have to see my message. Okay, if there anything is going wrong. Okay, so I think you learned this particular exception. I think previous class you have learned the exception, right? So we did different exception handling technique. So I can show you, we can also store the exception here. So what I will do, I'll let's say copy one exception. So let's say I will copy this code and I'll just modify here. So let's say I don't want to perform all the operation and I don't need to take all the, let's say, error type. I'll simply use except exception as E. So what will happen? It will try to open this particular file, and if exception going wrong, it will log the information in my log file. Okay, so simply I'll just use, instead of, let's say, printing E, I'll just write login.info. Okay, login.info. Inside that, I'm going to pass this particular E. Now see what will happen if I execute the program. This file is exist, it is giving hello world. Now say if this file is not exist, let's say 10 not exist. Now if I execute, see, it will save the log. Now if I open my exception, now see if I open my log file, you will see that instead of printing, now it has saved this particular log. Now see, this is the log message, no such file and directory, file /sample.txt 10. I hope it is clear. Now what you have learned, whatever exception actually you are getting from your application, instead of printing them, okay, instead of printing them, what you can do, you can simply log that particular error inside the file, so that I can download it anytime and I can see my error and I can fix my application. Okay, so this is the use of the login inside Python. Okay, so it's again super important topic, guys. I'm telling you again, because going forward we'll be using this particular login concept a lot, okay, in our application. So I hope it is clear. So yes, this is all about from this particular video. I hope you liked it. And please try to also read the documentation, because inside documentation lots of things has been written. Okay, apart from that, there are so many ways you can define this login, but I have showed you the easiest one. Okay, even I usually use this particular things in my application. Okay, this particular format you can also use. So yes, this is all from this particular video. So thank you guys for watching this particular video, and I will see you next time.